Yeah, over right now.
I keep forgetting you're
Excellent.
I keep forgetting you're going to be telling me.
We're live?
That's okay. It's Andy.
Okay.
You don't want to be?
Yeah, you don't
No,
know because I have a
I'm
voice.
glad I'm alive. But welcome everybody to the annual members meeting for BevCam. Glad you could all attend. I'd like to have more members attend, but it's great those of you that are here, and it's great that we can do it at 261 for the second straight year, I think. Yeah, we did it down here last year too. So thank you, La Cachar, for such wonderful food. And so eat up. There's a lot of food back there. We're going to start the meeting now, but if you're hungry and want to get up and get more food and sit back down, that's just fine. Very informal, okay? And I've been instructed to stay as close to this X as possible, so I'm on it. I'm Paul Earle. I've been on the BevCam board for 23 years, I think, 2002. And seen a lot of change. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more change over the next few years, some of it within our control and a lot of it completely beyond our control. So it's interesting times. And for those of us that have spent our entire career pretty much in startups, it's particularly fun right now to try to work through this stuff. What we're going to do first is, you got the agenda. We're going to do the election. I'm going to turn it over to John Agard, who's on the board. John, you can stand on the X.
I will.
And this meeting is streaming live, by the way, so that's why we have to stand on the X. So go ahead.
Where's the camera?
Camera's
here?
over there.
Thank you. I'm John Algieri, and I've been a board member for about 10 years, 5 years, something like that. Time flies. I'm also on the nominating committee for board membership. This year, we have 3 candidates for 3 board positions. And all 3 positions are member elected, which means you will be voting for the 3 candidates, each of the 3 candidates this evening. Our bylaws require that we actually have a paper ballot. So while we have 3 candidates for 3 positions, and it might seem a lot easier if we just did a voice vote for each of the 3, we're required to actually have a ballot. So what I thought we'd do is have each of the 3 candidates, one of whom is not here this evening, is out of the country, and I will say a few words about Keith Sonia. But then John Tamilio and Michael Davis, if you could come up and just say a few words about your background and basically why you want to be a member of the board. In John Tamilio's case, he is a current member of the board, so this would be re-election, if you will. So the 3 candidates are Keith Sonia and Michael Davis and John Tamilio. Keith Sonia, as I mentioned, is not here this evening. But let me just say, Keith has been on the board at least for 1 term now. Keith has a background in public affairs and has consulted with governments across the globe, basically. So that's his expertise. He's been involved with local politics as well, and he's been a valued member of the board. He was helpful to Executive Director Rob Chapman in developing the request for proposals that was distributed last summer and was recently approved. So we'll hear a little bit more about that perhaps later. But Keith was very helpful to Rob and to the board in developing that, and has been an excellent member and contributing member of the board of directors. So he is one of the candidates, John Tamilio, as I said, and Michael Davis. Michael, would you like to come up and just say a few words about why you'd like to join the board? A little bit about your background, etc.
Try not to move. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Mike Davis. So a little bit about me is I started my career and I graduated Curry College in 2019 and started my video production career in 2020, actually of being a production manager at Bedford TV. I did that for about a year and a half, and then I had a lot of different freelancing positions I was doing, and then I was the videographer up in the helicopter for Boston 25, so I was Sky 25. And then I joined Phantom Gourmet in 2022, and I've been there since. I'm a videographer and video editor for them, where I have won 2 New England Emmys. And Super Sub was recently on the show. I pushed for years for that to be on the show. And they finally listened to me. And it's, I pitched, shot, wrote, and edited that piece. And I believe my background with, like local TV and my expertise that I've had, I think would be a great fit to be on the board of directors. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. John?
Can I ask one question? Just curious. Do you live in Beverly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay on the X.
It almost feels like a Monty Python skit, like something's going to fall a big way. I'm John Tamilio. I live in Beverly, in Centerville. I'm a pastor, I'm a professor, I'm a musician. I wear a couple different hats. My wife teaches in the Beverly school system. I was born and raised in Beverly, but moved away for several years and found my way back here. My interest in BevCam started as a viewer, and then it morphed into me hosting a show at one point, and I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes that people like Chris do, who's a brilliant jack of all trades, and others. And I'm not a tech person, and I'm not interested in being a tech person, but I was really interested in kind of being part of this community. And during my time on the board, we opened this facility due to the work of several people under the leadership of Paul. And I think that this is a resource that offers so much to the community. From continuing doing what we've done at the high school with video production, and now with podcasting, with a storefront window. I think there's just so much that we can do, and there's exciting things happening. If you look at the board, or you talk to a board member, you'll hear about a lot of the exciting things that are happening. Some of it you took part in tonight by filling out those Post-it notes that are around the room. So I would like to continue and see great things happen right here on Cabot Street and at the high school and beyond. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.
And Michael and Keith and Absentia. And we're passing ballots out now, and if you would take a moment to vote for 3, we'll collect them. Again, it may appear obvious, but and it's members only. Thank you for reminding me. So members only, like the jacket.
I think there's a lot of friends and family.
Where, go around and collect that, you're gonna collect them?
Yeah, give it to your back.
You also think ballots?
Okay. Slideshow. That is better. Thanks, Rob. Okay, I think we'll start the formal part of the meeting. I want to make a few general remarks and thank some people, and then I'll turn it over to Rob to make some comments about BevCam and where it's going. And we're fortunate to have Sarah a lot with us from the strategy company we hired to help us better identify ourselves and where we're going in the future. So it was great that timing-wise that she could be here. And she'll say a few words later, and she's responsible for all these post-it notes. Okay. All right. Okay. So since the last meeting, what's been going on? A lot's been going on, a lot of progress, a lot of emphasis on this location. We invested a lot of money in this location, and we don't have the revenue sources we used to have as vibrant as they were. So we're counting on this location to give us the opportunity to be much better recognized in the community and to generate different sources of revenue. So raising awareness, staff's done a good job with a lot of help from part-time people to staff evening and weekend hours with very few exceptions to 8 o'clock at night, I believe, and including Saturdays and Sundays. And so it gives us the maximum opportunity to interact with the community, which before, those of you that have been around BevCam, you're in the high school, we're still in the high school, but you can't interact with the community in the high school, especially these days, with all the security and everything else. So we had to bite the bullet and just take a chance to see what happened. New initiatives, progress, significant increase in podcasts in September and August and September alone, I think 7 new ones or something, Amanda? Yeah, and that's awesome. And also regular workshops, which aren't on media, thinking about maybe doing that hybrid kind of thing going forward. But right now, they're right here. People come in, and they're starting to get some nice traction, which is very encouraging. And then fee-for-service production services, which we have gotten a few this year. Chris is primarily involved in that, and we're looking to do more. Increased member communications. Liz can't be here tonight. She's ill, but weekly emails go out pretty regularly. There's postings to Facebook and Instagram, ideally daily, just to keep in front of people so that eventually they really know who we are and they look forward to getting that little tidbit each day. Financials. We have a lot of money in the bank. We've got about $650,000, give or take, in the bank, which is nice. We don't need that much money in the bank. Probably need about 3 just for a rainy day in case something happened, 2 to 3. But our problem right now, which the consultant friend is going to help solve with us, is what's the best way to spend the rest of that money that we don't need to be keeping in the bank. So the reserves are healthy. The average quarterly payment, we signed a new contract with Comcast 3 years ago. The average quarterly payment of the new Comcast contract in year 1, which was Q3 2022 through Q2 2023, is $187,000 and change. Okay, the average quarterly payment in year 3, which was Q3 24 to Q2 2025 which we just got the most recent one in, is $162,900 and change. So from an average quarterly point of view, that's a decline of about 13% in 3 years, okay, on the money that's coming in. Historically, that's been the only money that comes in except for occasional members. Membership is actually in 4 digits this year, which is wonderful, and is above $3,000, so that's a significant increase. Workshops have brought in about 1,500, I'll just use a round number, but they've also brought in a lot of new members. So if you count those new members, they probably wouldn't become new members if they hadn't come to a workshop and found out that they only had to pay 50% to come to the workshops and to be a member and take advantage of the other services. So that's been pretty significant, and and the production services I mentioned. So our main source of revenue, 95%, 90 to 95%, is Comcast. And Comcast is going the wrong direction. And we only get a piece of the TV. We don't get a piece of their streaming and all that kind of stuff. That's a constant negotiation thing at all levels of government, but you know how slow that can be. So it's the kind of thing we just can't sit back and assume anything and have to figure out some ways to generate new sources of revenue. So what's in store for this year, next year, sorry, 2026? Well, we're going to meet the challenge that was at the last bullet of the last slide there by doing the strategic planning and market analysis. We sent out a request for proposals back in May, I think. Accepted them through July, yeah. And we got 4 proposals, all very qualified organizations. We decided based on relevant experience and a lot of other factors, the proposal itself, and whatever, to go with Paper Crane Associates, which is based in Westford. And they began working about 3 weeks ago, right? Okay. And their charter is to help us identify who we really are and or who we want to be, and then figure out what services and products we might want to have in order to monetize more and to be less dependent on Comcast or any Comcast lookalike going forward, because they're all doing the same thing. And we are fortunate to have Sarah Glatt, president and founder of Paper Crane Associates, with us tonight, and she's gathering some data, and she'll speak a little bit in a little while. We do plan to continue to initiate new products and services based on the study findings. We're hoping to wrap up the project, or at least phase 1. I mean, who knows what it might uncover, which says other things we should do. But by around the end of Q1, early April, something like that. So we're going to have a lot of the year to basically initiate some new products and services as appropriate, and I underline the as appropriate. We'll continue to expand podcasts and other production services, identifying possible revenue generators. I'm a big believer in trying something, but being smart enough to know when you shouldn't continue that and maybe try something else. Because if you don't try stuff, you're just going to be stagnant, and we can't afford to be stagnant. So maybe some things we've been experimenting with, we'll either spend less resourcing on them, or they might go away, and we're looking forward to some wonderful big new ideas popping out of the study. Support educational and government programming, those are 2 keys of the PEG, as we all know. And if the board gets a report every 2 months, and the staff writes, each member of the staff writes what they've been doing, the amount of stuff that such a small staff is getting out. But like sports alone, they're doing sometimes 2 or maybe 3, I think I read, I don't know, games of some sort a day, some days, just because they're covering 2 or 3 women's sports and 2 or 3 men's sports, and an email, if at all possible. So we can then proactively reach out. They can always have an opt-out if they want to opt out, but at least we can send them the weekly content email. And I think there's something to opt out on that at the bottom, I think. And so if they want to stop it, they can stop it. Right now, they can't get it. So, that's a potential problem. Recognizing contributors. I've already talked a bit about the staff under Rob's direction. Again, the staff, along with upwards to 20 maybe, or a little bit more, part-time volunteers and part-time paid people, okay, a combo, okay, do an enormous amount of work. The board, we meet regularly and deal with issues as they come up. 2024 and 2025 have been busy years for the board. A lot more meetings than I can recall ever having, because again, when you're dealing with all this stuff that we're trying to do the best we can, you just got to meet and digest stuff and go from there. Board members that are here, if you guys could just stand up very briefly, please. Matt, Alex, Andy, John, Tony, Judy, John. You're now a board member, Michael, and I'm a board member, and there's 3 missing. I think that adds. I don't know. I'm not going to go through the producers in the community name by name. I asked Rob's team, through Rob, to put together those lists because I figured they could also be useful for the consultant in talking with people and talking with groups and everything else. So that might jumpstart that a little quicker by having this here. We do plan to put this presentation, mine, slides, and Rob's, up on the website. So anybody who wants to get a look at this can later on. Okay. So with that, there'll be time for comments and questions and stuff later, but to keep it moving, I'm going to ask Rob to come up here. I just noticed I wasn't standing on the X. Is that okay?
Sounded great.
Oh, good. Okay. And turn this over to you. And
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I'm not going to say a lot. You guys get to see me every day when you come to BevCam, so I think it's just nice to see everybody here. In particular, I'd like to thank the board members for their guidance and their support and their perspective and their everything they do with helping us try to guide where BevCam goes into the future. So they put in a lot of work and they don't get paid, they pay me. So that's why I appreciate them. Thank you guys for all that. Let me see what. Back up here. I do want to mention the staff. As some of you may know, I fell off a ladder at the beginning of May and broke some of the first bones I've ever broken in my body. And it became a mobility issue, and my staff stepped up, and I was pretty much stuck in a bedroom up in Vermont for most of May, and did my best to call in and see how they were doing, but they were able to handle it. So I just want to say thank you to those guys for the incredible work that they did covering for me while I was recovering from my accident. It was nice to know that people were here that I could count on to take care of things. So thank you very much. One of the things, a couple things I just wanted to note was that this is the first year that we actually raised our membership dues in over 20 years. At the time, an annual membership, I think, was $25, or it was $10 for seniors. And,
Yeah, 25.
yeah, and maybe 50 for organizations. People would come in and they would just be astounded that we would be providing this kind of service for that amount of money. So we went to the board and we talked a little bit about it might be time. They spent some time on a membership committee that Alex chaired, and we got into it. And we decided to raise the membership dues. It was overdue, and it went really smoothly. People were still very excited about how little it actually costs to be able to avail themselves of some of the services that we provide here. So we got it done. We're now at $24 a year for seniors and youth, $49 for an individual, $99 for a family, and organizations are $149. And an organization is basically an opportunity for somebody who's in the community who might want to add their organization to be able to have a number of members who can actually come in and use the facilities and stuff like that. So we also want to work to identify membership benefits. This include, coming here, voting for the board members, getting discounts on it. What does it actually mean to be a member of BevCam? So as Paul talked a little bit, we're working with a consultant with Cabot St. Associates. So we hope that we will be able to build on some of the work that we've already done with regard to what is being a member of BevCam actually means. So. Production numbers. So this is a form that Michelle put together quickly for me, and talking about who are our biggest producers. So there's the top 20. Is that 20 of them, Michelle?
Top 8. There's 16 total. 16
total. George is at the top with 44 episodes. George is sitting right there. One of our most. What's the? I'm trying to come up with a word that means somebody who does a lot of work, and it's not. I'm not, you know, as you get older, they escape. The words escape. There's the other ones. You can see what they've been doing. This one is one that scares me every day when I think about it. This is our revenue over quarters. So we get our money from Comcast on a quarterly check. And when I came on, this is about the time when I came on here, the second quarter of 2022. We can see that they had just negotiated, and they were peaked at 190,000 a quarter. In the time that we've seen this line go down, we're now at about 160, just a little over 160 a quarter. That's a significant drop. When you see, thinking that you're actually seeing $30,000 less a quarter, that means almost 100,000, a little over $100,000 a year that we're starting to see a drop in the revenue. So a lot of the work that we've been doing with the board, the reason we brought on Paper Crane was to identify opportunities where can we begin to start thinking and working as sort of a traditional nonprofit. I often tell people that as an executive director of a nonprofit, I'm fairly unique in that I don't have to go out and raise my money every year. I'm now in my 4th decade as an executive director of a community media center, and I've always just gotten these big checks that come from Comcast every year. When we talk about what can we do to be able to diversify our revenue sources, we have to start thinking about what other nonprofits do and how do we begin to behave like that. So we begin to think about, can we ask people? How do we ask people for money? Can we ask people to support some of the things? So a lot of the conversations we've been having with the board have to do with these sort of things. Worried about, if we tell people we can't provide this service anymore, or that's going to start costing you. So all the events that we cover out in the community, how many of these can we actually do, and is there a value and price that we can put on there that people are willing to pay? So having these conversations is really what we'll be doing in the next few months. So, and maybe someday that number will go back up. Some additional.
Yeah.
As I said, diversifying funding structure might include membership services and training opportunities, production services. If we're going to be covering events, can we charge for that? Giving campaigns. Typically, nonprofits. I got one in the mail today from, I forget who it was from, but it was, here's your envelope, here's your appeal, and maybe BevCam should be doing something like that. Can we monetize our content? How do we monetize content? What do we, looking at that sort of thing. Can we, will people willing to sponsor and underwrite some of our content, some of our programming and stuff like that? Can we go out and find grants? Are there grants available for community media centers? Do we develop programs that are grant worthy or something like that? So, and then of course, anything else that Sarah might come up with.
I think one key thing you left out too is your legislative work.
That's just like one that we just always is in the back of my mind. I serve on the Mass Access Board of Directors, which is the advocacy group for Access in the state of Massachusetts. And there are currently bills that they're working on to tap into some of that streaming revenue. So we don't get any revenue from streaming services there, like the Hulu and Netflix, and that's where media consumption is moving toward. As I say, cable subscribers are dying off. They tend to be older folks who are used to watching television as they watch it, as they're clicking the channels. I tell the anecdote of being down in Florida visiting my mother and saying, "Mom, why are you paying $200 a month in cable? That's ridiculous. You can watch everything on Hulu." Not totally cognizant of the irony of the fact that I'm talking about my own livelihood. So when it comes to my mother, I'm like, we can cut that $200 down to $100 or something like that. Yes, thanks. And now we want to hear from some of the BevCam staff. So unfortunately, Liz called me this morning and is very, very sick. She's getting ready to go on a sabbatical. She's taking some time with her husband to go to Japan, to the other side of the world. But we do have somebody filling in for her while she's away. This is Ashley. Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself? Say anything?
Hi. I've been a BevCam member
so we can see you. We
Get on the mic.
We don't have to crane our necks. We're old.
Stand on the ice.
You didn't know you were going to come up and say anything, did you?
Liz warned me.
Okay.
Liz gave me a warning. I'm Ashley. I've been a BevCam member for about a year. I'm an illustrator, designer, printmaker. I'm filling in for Liz for all the social media. So everything you're going to see posted for the next month is going to be me running around trying really hard to be Liz. I have very big shoes to fill. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Great to have you, Ashley.
Welcome. Welcome.
I think you're up first, right?
Hey everyone,
Hey.
welcome back. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly touch on all the sports stuff we've been doing pretty much. We still have studio shows going on at the high school too, a significant amount. I see George quite often. But anyway, I'm gonna kind of just talk about what we've been doing with sports this year. Fall season, we're currently covering 5 different sports, which keeps us pretty busy. As Paul alluded to, we sometimes have a couple games a day that a lot of times the timing kind of overlaps, which can be challenging. Like we'll have soccer starting at 4, but we'll have volleyball in the gym starting at 5:30. So some days we have to decide which one we're doing, but other days we try to do both because the community really loves their sports here. Robert Dokes, who I think most of you know, did an incredible job building up this program and set the expectation extremely high. So we've been trying to keep up with that and just like give everybody what they want to see. So just in the last month, we did 25 games. So that includes, there've been some Saturday mornings. I think, do we even have a Sunday one? Was there a Sunday one?
I think there was.
Yeah, I think there was one Sunday one. So once again, we look at the schedule before the school year starts or gets back, like in the winter we look at it and we just see how much can we do with the resources we have, right? So outside of that, some of the things that kind of changed in the last year was that as everyone probably had heard, they were putting in lights and stands at the high school and half the town was like, yeah, that's awesome. And the other half was like, that's a waste of money, or, you know, the whole controversy of any project in town. But that provided some positive and some challenging stuff for us because, yeah, sure, we're right there. So it's kind of cool to be able to like easily troubleshoot, although the distance to the field is a little longer than I'd like. So sometimes trying to run something out and back can be a little challenging, but it's easier than driving all the way to Herd Stadium. So about half the games this season for football are there, and then the other half are at Herd. The last 2 Fridays we had Friday Night Lights over at the high school. Went extremely well, especially considering we don't have any real infrastructure out there, which we have at Herd. We've got fiber that runs across the city, and we can plug things in, and the cameras just show up, and audio just shows up most of the time, as long as you do the testing and everything. But there, we're wireless. We have some great tech. We got a really nice new wireless made by this company, Swit, that we get all our wireless stuff from. They make some monitors and stuff too, but it's rated for up to 6,500 feet, which I think would take us like into the Cummings Center if we really had to, but it's got to be not blocked by buildings and such. But has significantly improved our signal strength because we were getting a lot of dropouts last year, and the problem is the main camera is also like bringing you sound and everything, so you'd lose everything for a second, and that was no fun. So we knew we were going to be doing a lot of football, so we stepped up and spent some money to get that underway, and still using our other wireless stuff for things like scoreboard camera. We also added a camera on the track for football, which is cool because at Herd you just have fencing and then gravel and then grass, so you can't really get around easy to get a nice shot. But we do have the nice track there, so you can kind of roll. And I ran into a teacher the other day when we were setting up for volleyball, and she was like, I watched the game the other night. It was incredible. It looked like you guys were on the field. And I was like, we pretty much were. It's like, so the people have been noticing that we've been trying to step it up. We've also been trying to add some more graphics, more PSAs that run between periods, updated scripts where the announcers talk about workshops here, like and subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube, all the stuff you see on other videos on YouTube. We've been trying to really like up the production value, get more people to subscribe to what we're doing. We're starting conversations to try to get some sponsorship stuff going. I know Liz was going to be meeting with the athletic director to talk about some opportunity there. So we're going to hopefully see some new movement with those kind of areas. And you know, the first thing we noticed is, oh, there's all these great business banners at the track. Like, let's get a BevCam banner there. Like, why not, right? Like, so things like that, we're kind of really trying to use the sports program to kind of elevate and kick things off, because it's, I think, where we get our most viewership. So I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions, comments? No? Everybody? Yes?
Does anybody in the community come and ask to look at the archives, to actually look at?
You know, every once in a while we'll get somebody that'll ask for something, but they're asking for it from like 25, 30 years ago, before BevCam was incorporated. So most of that stuff, unfortunately, is impossible to find. We have some boxes of tapes that we sometimes go through, but we can almost, if they're asking for a year in like the 90s, we can almost never find it, unfortunately. But
Would it be helpful to that end, like support an effort to digitize whatever is available in certain tapes, like to digitize the remainder of tapes?
yeah, I mean, I think we still have some decks there.
Let's say to hire out for it.
Oh, to hire out for it?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get a huge ask for it. I don't think it'd be a bad project to do, because I mean, those tapes are going to just continue to decay, and eventually we won't have the
Maybe
stuff
for
at
an
all.
intern or something. Or
Yeah, or like Matt said, there's companies that do it, and it's probably not
It's very
super.
inexpensive.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd be down if somebody can get that stuff for us on our server. That'd be great, because Michelle does a lot of stuff where she plays like things like old movies, and she can talk about that more. But like, I mean, it'd be nice to be able to do like a Throwback Thursday sports thing. Yeah, she's got more to talk about with that. But like, I mean, I love that. That would be super helpful, and it would clear some space with those
Yeah.
boxes.
I have a friend that does it. So.
Really? Okay, we will talk about that.
One other question I had
Yeah.
is that, do you have any like gaps in technology, things like that are worth talking about here or offline?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I keep like harping on every time I see somebody, like we work fairly closely with Jake Pike from the city, and he's usually in tune to all the projects with things like fiber and stuff like that. So we keep telling them, because they're saying we want to put security cameras out at the track and things like that. So we're gonna run fiber at some point, and we keep saying, well, let us know what we need to chip in to get those extra bundles of fiber, so we can just have a box and plug in. And I think that's a big one. As I kind of joked before, but it's something we've talked about. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a golf cart, because going back and forth to the field, like if there's like 5 minutes before a game and like all of a sudden something isn't working, like I literally like have sprinted before, and like I'm not in shape, so like that's always a challenge anyway. So
It's not unreasonable.
no, I mean, you could probably get one like used. I read, we were joking about it going out to the track, and yeah, Tim, who helps us out on a lot of stuff, we were walking out there, and
golf and tennis would like donate one.
they might, right?
Yeah.
But I jokingly, Mark Thomas heard us talking about it, and he was like, "Oh, it's your next big purchase," and I was like, "Well, do we have a place to store it? Can we put it in the garage?" He goes, "Yeah, sure," and I was like, "I'm gonna tell my boss you said that. I'm gonna hold you to that."
I think it's actually like a worthy thing, so.
Yeah.
Cool. But I mean, I think that's kind of the.
Any other ideas? Any other big ones?
Off the top of my head, do you have anything? Yeah, I'll get you a list.
I'd say think about it, like
Yeah.
see if there's like big gaps
Yeah,
that need to get addressed, that will, because it's of value to the community.
sure.
And if we're providing more value to it and making your life easier,
Yeah.
streamlining things, it's worthwhile to consider.
Definitely. And I think, I mean, Rob could speak to this more, but I don't think we did a whole capital this year was.
No, we were just talking about the board,
Yeah.
and some of that money, and Matt was bringing it up.
Yeah.
What are some of the larger capital
Yep.
purchases that we should be planning for?
Yeah,
And what,
good stuff. All right. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle. I'm the content manager here. Work down at the high school with Chris full-time. I just want to point out what you were saying about archiving and maybe sending tapes out somewhere else. Just a quick recap at my previous job, I was actually in charge of archiving all of their old tapes from 80s, 90s. So I did hundreds of tapes. So it is on my list of things that I do want to do. I just haven't had the time to do it. But I am thinking of doing a Throwback Thursday. I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and playing 1 or 2 older shows, posting it on social media. Maybe that will get people to watch cable, hopefully. It could be a cable only thing. So that is a goal of mine that I want to do. I just want to bring that up really quickly. But I'm here to talk about active producers and top views for the year. Not that views mean anything or active producers mean anything. We love everybody. Even if you do 1 show a year, that's totally fine. We just want people to get in, have fun, and create new content. But I will say, just quickly, I'm not going to go through all of them, but like Rob said, we have George Binns here, who does the Binns Report. He had 44 episodes since January of this year, so that's amazing. I'll give him a little round of applause there. That's great. And it is election season, so George has been having a lot of local people in to talk about all things election, so that's been great. And then we have the Second Congregational Church, David Brandt, who they stream their own services every Sunday, but they do give it to us to download, and we play it the next Sunday. I play it Sunday and Thursdays for them. So they've given us 30 services for the year. Footprints, Anthony Davis has 26 episodes for the year. Sharing Wheel with Sean Devlin, 25. Bob Butterworth, 22. On Air, 21. Slow Your Roll, 21. Conservative Corner, 10 episodes. And then we have some honorable mentions, just consistently posting, maybe every other month or a couple months. We got Safe and Sound, Michael Palonzi with 8. Leah Hill, Rise Hill Grow, 8. Green Beverly has a podcast that they started, Earth Springs with Sean Devlin, 7. Gardening for Hot People, 6. Beverly Neighborhood News with 6. Art About, 5. Funny you should mention it, 5. And Andrew's Sports Zone with 5, which he just started. That's been great. And then just quickly, we got our top views for the year. Footprints, Anthony Davis has 3,568 views for the year. That's the top, which is great. And then we just go down the list. Sharing Wheel with Sean Devlin comes in second at just under 3,000. On Air, we had 2,485. Beverly Neighborhood News had 1,458. And Binns Report had 1,421. So I just think that's great. I think it's just something that everybody should know how everybody's doing. And yeah, I think that's it. Just something quick. I know, and I also just wanted to say, Channel 5 reached out to us last week. I just think this is a little cool tidbit. They are doing a Chronicle episode on Beverly, and they reached out to BevCam and asked if they could use a clip that we shot of Peppy the horse getting sworn in.
Oh, and that's the mayor?
Yes.
Right.
And so they're doing a little segment on Peppy, and they were like, oh, this is great. So I sent them over that and sent them over the Peppy music video that John did, which got 10,000 views on Instagram. And they watched it, and he said everybody in the office loved it. So maybe they'll play it. I don't know. It premieres right now. What was that?
It airs in 3 minutes.
Yes, yep, 7:30, so I think it's gonna be on YouTube tonight, possibly. Or if anybody is taping Chronicle.
I have a direct in with Chronicle.
There you go, there you go.
My cousin works in that.
Oh, perfect.
She's like posting the show tonight. She's like,
Yes.
She's like, I'm finishing it right now. I'm like, I'm gonna stop talking to you. But she said, there's an app that's out there.
Oh, to watch it?
It's called Very, Very Local, and
Oh.
that's where it'll be.
Perfect.
And like a few weeks or whatever.
Oh, so very local, check it out, I guess. Yeah, I just thought that was fun. If anybody has any questions or comments, concerns, let me know. If not,
What is a view? Is it an entire, somebody watches the whole show, or is it just click on and click off?
It's click on it. There is a different analytic for watch time. I could go in that and get all of that, but this is just clicking and saying. And this is obviously YouTube only. We don't have any numbers for cable. Yes. If not, I can send it over to Amanda.
Yes, Amanda! Let's go!
Quite a reception. Hey everybody, I'm Amanda. I'm education manager. Since being here at 261, I've also morphed into a little bit of a production manager for podcasting as well. We have had definitely more than 13 podcasts, I think, throughout the year. But in the past 2 months alone, we've had 13 different podcasts, different podcasters coming through these doors. 7 of them are brand new as of just August and September of this year. So we've had more than double the podcast in the last 2 months. I know that 3 of those are a direct result of the Intro to Podcasting workshops that I do every month. So those have been popular and a lot of fun. And most of them have been just through walk-ins, having a conversation with me or other staff, and then following up. So that has been really successful. And, you know, we've gotten some members out of it as well as, you know, people come in and want to talk about their podcast. And of course, oh yeah, that sounds great. If you become a member, then you have access to all of this. And then they find out how much it is and they sign right up. So that has been something that I think has, we were hoping would come to fruition, obviously spending the money that we did on this space and the podcast studio. So I do think that it is successful to the point that it might get too successful pretty quickly. So that'll be interesting. And you know, I like to be hands-on here, as does the staff. I have the members fill out a podcast proposal form and we go over it. We have a pre-production meeting. They come in, they do their show. I show them how to edit. I help them, you know, go on Canva and put together a graphic. I've had Mikey help me do some art for graphics, and it's really good. They get really involved, and I think that that level of support is what actually helps them to go from like the idea of like wanting a podcast to let me actually do it and then keep doing it and follow through. And you know, reminding people to bug their guests to get back to them.
Yeah.
Book that date. They're not too busy. They will come. And you know, in terms of workshops in general, we definitely over the past year have seen new members out of workshops. Like Paul mentioned, I'll do free workshops, we'll do discounted workshops. We're playing around with it, trying to figure out what works best, but people are definitely responding to that. And just a little heads up, we have 4 more podcasts this month. I just keep saying podcasts over and over. 4 more workshops this month. We have Intro to Podcasting this Wednesday, Kids Juggling, October 15th, Podcasting for Kids, October 22nd. Please spread the word about that. I'm very excited to get kids more into podcasting and bring back BevCam Kids, the podcast, and How to Use Any Camera with Levi on whatever that date is, that's after October 22nd, the following Wednesday, and another BevCam orientation also on November 5th. So, you know, we're keeping going with the workshops. I'm trying to feel out what people want and what they're interested in. Clearly, it's mostly podcasting and other things. So I welcome feedback from our members here. What are you looking for? You always can feel free to email me at amanda@bevcam.org. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. So thank you.
Okay, finally, we just have a thanks for a great year. We look forward, we really want to engage you in a conversation about the future of BevCam. So we want to hear from you in the next few months. There will be opportunities to include it, and we have something planned for this evening as well. So if Sarah, if you want to come up and talk a little bit about what we have for the last few minutes, and Paul, would you want to say something?
No. Okay.
He grabbed the clicker from you.
I don't have a slide, I don't think.
I don't have a slide.
Okay.
No.
I don't.
You can give it back.
Oh, you want it? All right, I got
Stand on the edge.
given power and then taken away power. It's nice to be with you all. My name is Sarah Glad. I run a nonprofit consulting firm called Paper Crane Associates, and I'm just really delighted to be joining the BevCam organization to help it think about its next few years. And so strategic planning is fundamentally about answering a bunch of questions together. Where is the organization today? Where does it want to head? And what's the roadmap in between? And so we know that BevCam is driven by its members. And that's why we're so proud to be kicking off strategic planning at the annual meeting so that we can hear directly from members about the things that matter most to you and the things that we can do as an organization to better serve you. And so we're doing that through 2 different exercises tonight. And we know this is the first of many conversations we're going to have with members throughout the strategic planning process. But we have 2 exercises tonight. The first was a sticky note exercise around the wall, where we had 4 strategic planning prompts, and I know there's a couple of friends who joined us later in the evening, and I'll make sure you get your sticky notes so that you get to respond to those. And then we're also going to have us group together in small groups and dive deep on your experiences as a member and what we could do better to help you meet your needs. And so that means very literally kind of grouping up, and we're going to have some small group discussion, hoping for some volunteers to both facilitate and take notes in each of those groups. And then from here, the planning process will take 6 to 8 months or so, and so there'll be many opportunities for you to continue to add your voice in. But we wanted to really anchor a member-based organization by kicking off strategic planning at the annual meeting. Anything else you'd like to add, Rob?
No, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So that does interrupt because not everyone's going to be able to stand on an X. So, yes, please.
How many people were invited to the meeting tonight? And how many people, I mean, we know how many people are here. How many people were invited to the meeting?
So the entire membership is just under 100 people.
Just under 100 people.
So I always say the people who show up are the ones I want to hear most from, because they're the ones who are telling us by coming tonight that they care deeply about the organization and where the organization is headed. If you're listening in at home and you're like, I wish I could be there, but soccer and this and that, there'll be plenty of other opportunities for folks to get their voice added into the process.
You know what I'm thinking, sir, is that we can actually stop the streaming part of the meeting and just get right into the breaking into groups and stuff like that. So, if Paul, if you want to say goodnight or anything like that.
Yeah, I think, we'll do that. Why don't we, because everybody might not be able to hang around for that. I don't know. So why don't we-
They stay for your portion and escape for mine? That doesn't seem particularly fair.
How long do you think this is going to be?
We lock the door.
We're going to lock the door.
It's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, as long as I will keep people as long as they'll stay with me tonight.
There you go.
Matt said he'll stay till 9.
Perfect.
Does anybody have any
Any-
general comments on what we've talked about tonight or questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do is close the regular meeting and turn it over to Sarah and Rob, and they can go until midnight if they want.
Wonderful.
Or
Let's do
whenever.
it.
How's that?
So
Thanks for coming.
yeah, thank you all for being
Do
here.
we need like a motion to adjourn or anything for the annual meeting?
I don't know, we can do it, yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
We need a second.
Second.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed to closing the annual meeting? All right, then wonderful.
Anybody
We're going to
opposed?
transition into strategic planning. I'm going to ask you to